All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? You tuned in to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got the squad with me today. Packed house, dope show. As always, ladies first. Porsche, what is good?
How are you, Kill?
Hey, you know me. I told you what happened before the show. I'm as best as I can be right now. Gadget out now in Atlanta. I'm about to say LA. Out in Atlanta. What's going on, good brother?
What's happening, brother? I'm loving the sights down here.
Okay.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I got my man Bruce in with us for the first time. What's going on, good brother?
What's good, y'all? I'm excited. I've been waiting for this all week.
No doubt, no doubt. That's what's up. This is one of the few people I met on Twitter, came out to my teen center, got a cut, chopped it up with my man's group and everything. So I appreciate you, good brother. Got my man.
I'm rocking the baldy now.
I see that, but I see that fashion rebel you got on. That's dope, good brother.
Yeah, Griselda all day.
Yeah, exactly. Good news. What's going on, good brother?
Peace, Kill. What's good? What's up, everybody?
No doubt.
How you doing, man?
Glad to have you back. JP, what's on, fam?
What's good? What's good, fam?
Yeah, what's good, man? Nick, what's good, baby?
What's going on? What's going on? Let's get it on.
All right, Vern, what's good?
Peace. Glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
Dope Daylight shirt, too. All right, look. Today we are talking about hip-hop, what-ifs. I don't know if anybody out there watching this comic or with comic book heads, but growing up, I used to love, they used to have these what-if magazines, the comics. What if Wolverine killed Spider-Man? Or what if Dr. Doom was in the Fantastic Four? All those things. Always love those joints. So we just bringing it to hip-hop this time. Yo, we going to get right into it. Coming straight from my man, I'm going to try to get this right, at Wu-Tang Zombie sent me a joint. He said, what if Eminem didn't sign with Dr. Dre and stayed underground with the Outsiders and signed the Rawkus Records? What would Eminem's career look like? Would you prefer that? Would you not prefer that? And then my man sent me something on Twitter saying that the only reason why Rawkus didn't sign him because they said Mos Def didn't like him. Like, and he like sent me the article with the people from Rawkus saying it. So I guess this isn't a rumor. Like, this is an actual fact that Mos said he didn't like him and they didn't sign him because of that. So I guess Rawkus was right there on the cusp of signing Eminem, and they didn't because Mos didn't like him. So I'll go first on these because I've seen all these questions. Some of these things are going to take time to really think about. I know for me personally, I was never a big Eminem fan. The whole I want to kill my wife, I want to kill everybody, hi, my name is. I actually preferred the sound bombing to Eminem when he was over Beat Minus B, just spitting. So I personally, of course, his career wouldn't be as big as he is or whatever like that. But me personally, I think I would have enjoyed Eminem's career better if he was on Rawkus over underground beats, you know, high-tech beats, beat minor beats, and stuff like that. Of course, he wouldn't be the Eminem we know today. Of course, if he signed the Rawkus prayerfully, we wouldn't have got D12 because I always thought the
niggas. you thought they were what?
I thought they was whack. I thought D12.
You didn't like my band?
I wasn't a big fan. Gadget, what would it look like if M didn't sign with Dre and signed with Rawkus?
He'd be where the Outsiders are right now. I mean, name somebody from Rawkus who's popping right now. And I'm not trying to be mean. Like I love Pharoah Monch. I love Mos Def. I love what's the cat from Philly that was signed for Rawkus for like a cup of coffee?
A cup of coffee. I don't even remember.
He I think he might have wrote for Dre. Oh man, he's from Philly.
Oh, you talking about I know you're talking about. Didn't he sign with Dre?
You talking about Last
Emperor, yeah.
Yeah.
Was Last Nip ever signed to Rawkus? I mean, I know he was on
Rawkus.
Yeah, he was signed to Rawkus.
Double Lounge joint, but I didn't even know he was signed to Rawkus like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got your point, but here's the other thing. Somebody could kind of say, where's M right now? Because, well, you know what? Let me stop because M stands.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay, M still going platinum.
Yeah,
yeah. His album just went platinum. So
yeah.
Are you that shit that looked like the Beastie Boys shit went platinum?
Yeah,
might be double platinum.
Yes,
I believe it.
Do you know when the highest on artist in the history?
When albums to $3, I mean, it's not hard to go platinum.
Yeah, you're right. All right, Bruce, what do you think? What if M never signed the Dre and stayed on Rawkus?
Well, I never even thought of that because I didn't know that was even close to happening. But me being a big Royce fan, that like makes me think what would happen with Royce, especially in the earlier years.
Right, that's a good point. That's a good
They'll
point.
put some shine on Royce.
Yeah. Like would Royce sign with Dre, or would I don't know. Yeah, that would. Yeah, I don't know. That would be crazy.
That's crazy because a lot of people don't know that he was running with the Outsiders. I honestly don't know how he got from Detroit to Jersey. I don't know if that was one of them old got to go to New York to get a deal, and how I don't even know how he linked up with the Outs to even get with that crew. Because the Outsiders seem like they're very Jersey-ish crew. You know what I mean? Like, and
Rod Digger gave an interview about it. She said something about Pace One and Bizarre was cool.
Oh, okay.
That was the
connection. Because usually Jersey niggas kind of keep to themselves, and then you're gonna bring a white boy into the crew. So I don't know how that went. Gnu, you from Jersey? What do you think about M? Would you have preferred M with the Outsiders, or were you a fan? Like I said, me personally, I've never been a fan of, the Hi My Name Is M like that. So what about you? What's your thoughts?
I fuck with Eminem, the early Eminem days. But if he would have signed with Rawkus and fuck with the Outsiders, he wouldn't have the fame and all that shit he has now. He'd be a nice underground MC. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, the Outsiders, them dudes was they were some wild dudes, man. I don't know how far they would have went. You know what I mean? Because those guys was they some crazy cats, man. But
yeah, and it's all. Now, I was gonna say it's almost a point to what Gad was saying when you think of the Outsiders, not just the Rawkus, but I mean, Young Z, he had to deal with MCA and his joint Musical Meltdown got shelved. I think Pace One had an EP out, so I don't even know if anybody outside the Outsiders, outside Rod Digger, actually had albums come out, and Rod Digger was only because of Flip Mode. So it's not like even Rod Digger got her solo deals because of the Outsiders. It was more of a Flip Mode thing. What about you, JP?
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I wasn't a big fan of, I'm a fan of his skill, but a lot of it, the production never appealed to me. I think maybe if he would have signed the Rawkus, he'd have probably been more, we probably would have appreciated it more because he'd been rhyming over better beats. You know what I'm saying? From that perspective, probably would have had more like classics in terms of how we view classic songs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think in that respect, I would have probably preferred him to stay underground.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I actually like the first two Eminem albums. I mean, are they classics? No, but I like them. So if he would have signed with Rawkus, I don't think we would have got those albums. And on top of that, he would have had a career similar to like them Non-Fiction cats.
Okay. Now tell me this: do you think we could have got a classic out of M on Rawkus in 96, 97-ish, like as a Mos or a Foul? Do you think M would have been able to give us a classic album through Rawkus?
I can't see it because you didn't like the Black on Both Sides, right?
I mean, I thought it was a good album. I mean, I give it like a 3.5, 4. I don't think it's a classic. I thought Pharaoh's first album was Five Mics, me personally.
Gotcha. Okay.
But,
no doubt.
He
would have had an underground classic. I could see him doing that on Rawkus.
All right.
He probably would have had 2 albums tops.
All right, right. Porsche, what about you?
I kind of agree with Nick. I mean, I liked Eminem's first couple albums, I would say. I definitely don't think, if he wasn't signed with Dre, I don't think he would have been anything near what he is now. And I don't think he would have been like a Pharaoh. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with what everyone says. I just don't think that we would have heard much from him. I think he just would have been, just another underground rapper that never really, was never really known. So,
yeah. What about you, Vern?
Same. I echo what Portia said. I mean, without signing with Dre and the whole machine, he'd just been that white boy with the red Monte Carlo on the Source. That might have had a ill verse here or there, but he wouldn't have been a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't. And I think also getting with Dre and them opened him up to, I think, all that wildness and weirdness, which helped him ultimately be big. So I don't think he he does that any other way.
He probably would have been a battle rapper. Like he might have just went that route. I think maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, and if you look at them sound bumming compilations, like 90% of them dudes went nowhere. I'm just keeping it buck.
Nah, I feel it was just for me. Like I said, he had a joint album in 2. It was like the first joint on the album, and it was him over a beat minus beat. And I was like, "This is."
It was dope. It was dope. I know what you're talking about.
All right, number 2. Got a lot of RZA fans up here, so this should touch y'all. Tell me this: where do you think RZA would be? Most people have him ranked, top 10 definitely, some top 5. What if RZA never lost all those beats in that flow? What if, because basically and I got here in my notes that RZA said in a Vibe interview in 96 that when the first Wu album dropped, that they all had all the other albums ready beat-wise. Everybody had at least 15 beats.
Can I please go first on this one?
Right. What you say, Nat?
Can I please go first on this one?
Yeah. He said Deck said he even tried to salvage the wet disc. He took him to his store to try to get them fixed. And he said anywhere between 300 and 500 beats were lost. So what do you think would have been different with RZA? Maybe we want to get that pop, my Glock go pop.
No, Bobby Digital was going to happen. Bobby Digital was going to
happen. Okay, so Nick, what do you think? What would RZA's place? Where would his placement be if in the Wu's placement be if that flood never happened? What you got, Nick?
I think it'll still be the same. But the only thing, and I'm gonna start off right. You said it, Deck. I always said, if you notice, they was dropping like every 3 to 4 months, but then oddly, between Liquid Source and Iron Man, it was like a damn year. I always said Deck should have been in between those albums, and that's probably why he didn't come out, was because of the flood. So I feel like we would have got the Deck album that we wanted. I think Inspector Deck's status would have been higher than it is now. And RZA would have just been the same. It just had another classic album under his belt.
And the reason why I say that is because I think I was saying this the other day. I don't know if it was on Twitter or in person, whatever. I was saying I think even though Pete Rock's spot is like solidified, I feel like he could have even pushed it even more if that I album would have dropped. You know what I mean? It just would have been even more certified. And
that would have been like his group home project.
Right, exactly.
Even though I and D-Dot are better rappers, but
right. Yeah. Now I feel you. Vern, what do you think? What if RZA never loses this in the flood?
Man, I think we would have more incredible dark music. And just as an aside, this goes back to one of your other episodes in regards to the producer as opposed to the MC. Just think about all the work that RZA did for all those tracks. I mean, we rehashing old arguments, but I mean, he said 500 beats.
They said RZA said 300. Ray said more like 500.
Okay, so it's 250. Let's split it down the belly. So think about all the dope beats we did get. I mean, that just solidified your point to me that producer needs to get more, but that's a whole nother argument.
All right, no doubt. Porsche, what about you?
I think RZA's like placement in ranks and stuff would be the same. I think even losing that many beats, he's still able to solidify that. Do I think he could rank higher? No, because then he's got to be better than Large Professor, DJ Premier, Pete Rock. Like I don't think RZA's better than them. He's on my top 5 personally, but I don't think 500 beats being lost would have been any different. I mean, I got a lot of love for RZA. I really do. But I don't think that those 500 beats were like a ton of variation. I don't think there's going to be showing a whole lot of range. I don't think it's going to be, like some sort of groundbreaking thing that we haven't heard before that got lost. Like, I don't think that 500 beats is a lot. 250 beats is a lot. But I just think that
an album is only 15
tracks.
Yeah, exactly. But
if only 100 of those was fire, that's like 6 more albums.
Because I'm like, maybe we get a good GZA follow-up album. Maybe we get You know, instead of immobility, we get.
Here's the thing. This is my thing about this whole losing the beats. Like, you're the RZA. Like, you made 500 beats. Like, maybe I'm being too hard, but like, it's not the whole end of the world. Like, you can make them again. Like, you made them. You have the genius to do that.
It depends on what he was at that time.
I hate to break this to you. You can't. Like, there have been times when I made a beat, something happened, electricity went off, the MP got jammed or something, and I try to recreate it.
I'm not saying to recreate it exactly. I'm not saying to recreate it exactly. I'm just saying, you know, the caliber in which you can create beats.
Right.
And I'm saying you can create beats along the same caliber of those beats, not to recreate exactly. Sorry, I should clarify. I did not mean to recreate exactly what was lost. I just mean the same caliber of what was lost. Right. So, and I think that, like, I don't know, this losing 500 beats thing is, I think it impacted Deck more than anything, like Nick said. And I think that the only person that kind of loses out in this whole thing was Inspector Deck. I don't think RZA lost status. I don't think he lost accolades. I don't think he lost much with that. I think the artists kind of suffered more than he did as a producer. That's just me. And I apologize if I offended anyone with that comment, but I didn't mean to recreate exactly. I know the producer's craft is like very difficult, and I do not want to downplay that. So I just want to be clear.
Not at all. JP, what about you?
I missed the first part of the question about RZA. So
what if the flood? What if flood didn't wash out those 300 to 500 beats? You know, is RZA solidified even more? Is you know, because a part of me is like, well, maybe we get a better follow-up Old Dirty album. You know, because a lot of these Wu-Tang second albums weren't dope, but if we still had them beats, I
got a couple questions. When did the flood like when did this happen?
That's a good question.
What year?
Good question.
Do you know the year?
Nah, I think it was like 95.
So it was after a couple of solo projects already.
Like after Cuban Links.
After Cuban Links. You know what? I think it probably would have made a difference. Like, I feel like as much as people respect RZA and as much as great music he's put out, I can imagine at that time, like, because, you know, a lot of times, we get in a groove when we making beats. Like right now, I'm in the middle of one. I feel like the past couple weeks, I've been making some shit. You know what I'm saying? So to lose the stuff I've been making, like, for 500 beats, and even if I try to recreate it, I think his place probably would have been higher amongst top producers. I feel like, because if he lost all those beats and we still consider him this much, I feel like if we would have heard what was lost, I think it would have made a difference in a lot of people's minds, especially a lot of Wu albums. It could have been a great follow up for like Meth, because he sure needed a great follow up, but you know what I'm saying, things like that. So
yeah, I feel like outside Ghostface, I felt like we never got good follow up albums. You know, he didn't come back with a dope one. Jizz didn't come back with a dope one. Dirty didn't come back.
Yeah, so Ray shit was horrible.
Right. Good news.
But they also moved away from him from that second. Nobody actually just used all the RZA for the second.
Right, but here's the thing.
And maybe that was by choice.
Was that because he was trying to, you know, like, I know with the beat miners, even with me, like, if I'm working with an artist, that artist gets all those beats first. And then once they turn it down, then it'll go down the line. Like, I want to say Beat Miners was doing, what is that reggae joint off of the Shine? Soundboy Berry. He was doing that for Helter. He did that for Helter Skelter, and they said that shit was whack. And Smith & Wesson was like, give me that. Like, that's give, you know, we'll take that. So, I mean, if you're Inspector Deck and you got to, like, just wait in line, like, you just waiting for RZA to recreate all these beats, because according to this, they were already done. Like, everybody had everybody already had their stash.
Right.
So, you know, if now I got to go recreate it, like you said, we in a groove. I could only imagine what a hit that is to lose 300 beats.
Right.
If I lose 20 beats that I think of, that's a hit.
You done lost your soul.
That's enough. Right. That's enough for me, right? To be like, yo, I may have to rethink life. Like, what the fuck? Like, 500? Like, I'm shocked you kept making beats after making that kind of.
Right.
What about you? Gnu, what about you?
I think it would have made a difference. Like JP said, man. Like, you know, if we gave him props and accolades off the shit that he did put out, like, damn, imagine if he would have heard those joints, man. But I also agree with what Push was saying about how the artists were affected, man, because nobody really came with strong follow-ups after that. You know what I mean? Everybody first go around was all right, but when they came back for that second go round, the shit was kind of lacking. So,
right. No doubt.
Yeah. And I want to say Ray wanted to prove he can do it. So I got to find the Source magazine around a Mobilarity time. I remember him saying he chose not to work with RZA because he didn't want to be in that shadow. He wanted to prove he could do a solo on his own, which it didn't work out. But I get what he was saying.
Right. What about you got?
You call me?
Yeah. What about you? What you think?
Yeah, it had me thinking like, me personally, RZA's like in my top 3. Especially that run from like 93 to like Iron Man. Yeah, I think that's arguably the best run a producer ever had.
I agree.
And that also made me think, you lose 500 beats. And like around that same time, Premier, he was doing Group Home, Gangstar. He was doing his crew stuff, but he was doing a lot of outside production too. So would RZA have more beats with like Nas and Big and Jay and all that? Like what would that turn out to be?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would have worked with Big. That's for sure.
Wow.
Why not?
Well, he did on Life After Death. Well, probably not around the Purple Tape time. I'll get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gage, what about you? You still with us, Gage? Oh, he got the mute on. All right, no doubt. We got another joint. Now, since we're talking about losing beats, this one should be a lot quicker. A lot of people don't know. Q-Tip lost a whole bunch of beats in the fire at his crib. The fire happened in 98. So we're looking at Beats, Rhymes, and Life was 96. The Love Movement was 98. What do you all think about that? Now, for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of the...
What was the fire again?
The fire was in 98.
98? Okay.
98. So basically...
So it wasn't just records he lost? He lost beats?
Yeah, he lost records, beats, equipment, albums.
I thought it was just records.
So I don't know if the actual Love Movement that came out was the actual one they recorded. Now, I know for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of the Uma sound. I like Tip with the harder drums, those Crooklyn Dodgers, the Goods, those drums. So I don't think it would have done anything for me personally, because it was the Uma Tip that lost these beats. Now, if this would have happened like right after Midnight Marauders, then I'm kind of like, well, what would Beats, Rhymes, and Life would have sounded like? So for me, I don't think it's that big of an L. What about you, Porsche?
Q-Tip losing beats?
Yeah, Q-Tip losing beats between...
In 98, though.
Yeah, in 90.
Sorry. I think Q-Tip losing beats affected him more than it did, for example, the RZA.
You think?
I think so. And I think it's because we don't know what he would have done with those beats and who would have eventually gotten those beats. So for me, I feel like Q-Tip is heavily underrated as a producer, and I think that perhaps that could have changed that.
All right. Cool. What about you, Nick?
So I'm on the other end because you clarifying that it was 98. That means Beats, Rhymes, of Life wasn't affected by that. So
exactly.
We got that. We weren't missing much, in my opinion.
Right. What about you, JP Queens?
I think it affected him. I think it would have made a difference if he hadn't lost that, because regardless of the year, I mean, Beats, Rhymes, of Life wasn't the greatest, but I mean, he's still a great producer.
No doubt that this is going into the Love Movement. So maybe the Love Movement, because I know a lot of people like the Love Movement was the wackest one.
Right.
So maybe, but I'm just like, because it was the Uma Tip, I just don't know, if
I see that. That doesn't mean anything to me, because I feel like who knows, Tip is a true artist, so who knows what type of shit he had up in there? Like, what I'm saying? We can only guess what it could have. But like Paul said, it probably would have went to a bunch of other artists. Like RZA, he was mainly working with the Wu, but Tip was giving beats to all type of people. So I feel like it probably affected him.
But not really after 98. Like Tip's run with giving out shit was like in between
94, 95.
And Rhymes of Life. Like you'd be hard pressed to find a produced by Q-Tip song post that. Most of this stuff was produced by the Uma, which Dilla has said was me. which is why he stepped away from the Uber. But I feel you. I definitely feel you. Good news. What about you?
Well, Tip is one of my favorite producers, man. So I think that I think him losing those beats, that shit definitely would have affected him, man. Because I mean, he has solo projects in the works, right? Remember, he had that Kamal the Abstract that came out kind of later on. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that wasn't his strongest work, but I mean, maybe that shit could have came out a little bit better if he was able to, you know, if he didn't lose all those beats. I don't know how many beats he lost, but yeah, a loss is a loss, man. A L is a L.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
Definitely would have affected Tip.
What about you, Bruce?
All this producers losing beats talk got me thinking I need to get into the hard drive tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't listen to much late 90s Tip. I mean, it will obviously affect them. I'm not really sure how I would view Tip any different.
Right.
To do that. Cause like,
all right, no doubt. Gadget, what about
if he was losing beats, my bad.
No. What did you say?
No, I'm gonna say if he was losing beats in like 92, like after Low End Theory, then that would be a whole different story.
Yeah. I feel that's how I feel. Gadget, what about you?
Yeah.
I just praise God that he didn't lose any of the beats for Mobb Deep's album. So, can you imagine if Q-Tip didn't do production on that album? But let me veer off. Let me get back to the subject. I don't know, man. I think we might have seen more output from Tribe Called Quest than maybe some of the native tongue people.
No doubt. Got another one. What if
before you do that, back to like what Portia was saying, I feel like Tip was underrated because he did the produced by Tribe instead of Q-Tip. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I think if everything would have stepped by
Q-Tip,
people's instinctives, I definitely think he would be higher on most people's things. But I think like myself, most people, I always thought Ali did all the beats.
Exactly.
I didn't realize Q-Tip did the beats until after midnight, and I heard Ali solo stuff, and I heard Tip shit.
Solo,
I was like, "Oh, Tip been doing the beat." So,
Was it the drums that gave it away?
Gave it away. I remember Ali did a song with Greg Osby, like this jazz saxophonist, and I was like, "Nigga, you wasn't doing the beat." And then I heard like, I'm here Mobb Deep. I'm here. I'm like,
the Nas, the Get Down remix.
Like, that Get Down remix is sick.
Nasty.
All right, check this. What if Big L lived? Because everybody says Jay-Z was about to sign him to Rockefeller.
That was one of mine.
Yeah. So what if Big L lived? Do you really think Jay-Z would have signed an imp of his caliber to Rockefeller? I don't think he would have. I think that shit sounds cute that he's dead now. And it's like, oh man, we were just about to sign L. I don't know if I don't personally think Jay is gonna sign an MC that. And again, I'm not saying Big L is as dope as Jay-Z. I'm not saying that, but at that time, Big L's spit game was on par.
Yeah,
I personally don't think they would sign him to Rockefeller because it would have just been too much in-house competition. But what do you call me? Of course, my bad, Gadget. Does Jay-Z sign Big L to Rockefeller if he lives?
Yes, he does. And imagine when they all go to Hot 97
with Big L
to diss the Locks. Imagine. Oh my God. So
that would have been ill.
We missed the moment in time when we missed the moment in time when he got killed.
Yeah,
we really did.
All right. What about you, Bruce? You think Jay-Z signs Big L to Rockefeller if he lives?
If he did, that would be amazing to hear Big L on some Just Blaze like O2 beats. Like that would be crazy.
All right, so you think he does? Your vote is Jay signs him.
Actually,
Dame
I don't think so, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with whoever said Dame. That's what I was going
Dame
to say.
signs him.
That's like the whole thing.
I would see that more. So yeah.
All right. But here's the thing, and this is another whole topic. With Dame signing, it almost seemed like that's where the split in Rockefeller came. And I'm wondering if this goes back to what I said originally. Jay strikes me as I don't want nobody around me that's nowhere as nice as me. This is just my opinion of Jay.
Yeah,
Never met him.
But they had Beans though.
Yeah,
But keep in mind that's Dame. That's Dame. And keep in mind, like, wasn't that when the break started happening? I know the break officially happened when he signed Cam without asking him when Jay was on vacation or whatever. But that was maybe, I don't think Jay wanted that. I don't think Jay liked
he wanted Beans. I think he wanted Beans.
Oh,
I think he wanted Beans.
Okay. All right.
I mean, as a label head, you don't want whack rappers on your, like, you want, at that time, you wanted spitters.
But here's the thing. Then why didn't Jay ever sign Source? Source Money is a spitter.
That's a good question.
Maybe it was an issue with Source. I mean, some of these guys don't want to be signed, or like their, negotiations is too much. Like, everything's not on Jay, I don't think.
All right, I feel you. I'm just like, you sign Bleak, but you don't sign Source. But Source is on both of your first two albums. You know what I mean? So again, we'll never know. Just, my thing is, I don't think Jay likes competition around him like that.
And Source was already signed to MCA, wasn't he, for his solo album?
Yeah, I think he was signed.
I want to say, I don't know. You know what? Let me look at some credits. Gnu, what do you think? I'm gonna look at some credits. What you got, Gnu?
I don't think Hov would have did it because, like you said, I think Jay-Z is a competitive cat. He don't want nobody around him that's that's on his level, man. So I don't think that shit would have worked out, Big L and On the Rock, unless like you said, unless Dame would have did it, behind his back. You know what I mean?
Right. You're getting old. My birthday next week. When you gotta look at the CD cover like this from afar. So you write on the second album for Face Off, Source Money appears courtesy of Geffen Records. So you're right. He was signed during Face Off. So you're right. Maybe that's the reason why. JP, what you think?
I mean, I think he would have. I mean, him or Dame, because Dame was the one who signed Kanye.
Right.
Jay really wanted him either. You know what I'm saying? Not as a rapper. So, but I think that Big L, because the hype was so, it would have been huge for Rockefeller if they would have signed him. And if you say he's a competitive cat, he might not want to sign him. He's also realized that signing Big L would have been a huge look, and everybody would have been paying attention. So just for that alone, it would have made sense.
All right. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I think he would have signed him, and I'm one of the hardest people on Big L fans because they praise the debut album like it's Illmatic, and it's not. But I think that we would have got that album that he's capable of making. I think he would have made a classic if he would have signed to Rockefeller. Like if he didn't get murdered and all of that went through, like they said. I think we would have got a great album that I know he was capable of making.
All right. No doubt. Of course. What about you?
I agree with you. When you asked the question, the first thing I thought of was I don't think Jay would have signed him because I don't think Jay wants the in-house competition, like exactly that. So I personally don't think so. And I think that Big L would have had, like everybody, like his fan base is always, Big L has all this potential, so much potential. I don't think he needed Jay to have that potential or to show that potential. So I don't think Jay would have signed him, and I still think he would have been able to, make an album that would have been sufficient for his fan base that they would have loved. So, yeah.
All right. Cool. Next question I got deals with people picking up the phone and how important picking up the phone is sometimes. So I'm watching the Drink Champs with Jazzy Jeff, and he's saying, they're like, how'd you meet Will? He said, look, I had an MC named Ice who used to do house parties with me. I have a party to do. I call Ice. This is back in the 80s, so there's no two-way. There's no clicking over. There's no pager. There's no nothing. If you don't answer the phone, you don't answer the phone. So he says, I call Ice. Ice doesn't answer the phone. I go to this party. The party happens to be on Will's block. And Will comes over to me like, yo, where's your man Ice? Oh, yo, Ice ain't here. Yo, you mind if I rock with you tonight? Jeff said, yeah, and the rest is history. So what if Ice picks up the phone and says, hey, Jeff, I'm there. I'm there. We gonna rock this party. Do we still get Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And then there's a part 2 to this because most people know this story. Eric B was supposed to take Freddie Fox to the Marley session instead of Rakim. Freddie doesn't answer the phone or doesn't return a message or something. He takes Rakim. What if Freddie Fox goes to the session where My Melody, Eric B, and President are recorded in Marley's crib in Queensbridge? Do we still get Rakim? Now, for me on the Jeff thing, I don't think we get Will Smith because to me, the whole hoopla of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was really Jazzy Jeff. You know what I mean? It was his skills. So it was and Jeff talks about during the episode, which is a very dope episode to watch. He talks about how he was like, yo, we were just emulating what we heard from tapes from New York. So we thought the DJ's name was first. We thought the DJ was the most important person. That's why it was DJ Jeff in the Fresh Prince. So I think Prince got a lot of love. Well, Will got a lot of love because of Jeff's skills. You know, Fresh Prince to me was always like the busy BMC. He's the old school MC. I'm the crowd rocker. Yeah. I'm gonna keep y'all hype and y'all just listen to my DJ get busy. So I don't think we get Will Smith without Jazzy Jeff because there's no DJ to keep him busy or whatever. And with Rakim, I don't know if we may still get Rakim. I don't know if we get Eric B as president and My Melody and those joints because the hookup between Rakim and Marley Marl was Eric B. And if Freddie Fox picks up that phone, that connection isn't made. So maybe we still get Rakim, but I don't think we get the Rakim that we all know and love. Gadget, what do you think?
We definitely don't get Rakim. But I think Rakim does come around. But I think for some reason I think Large Professor is in this somewhere in this equation with Eric B and Rakim. I don't quite remember, but I thought
Large Professor is down the line. Large Professor,
okay.
1990, Paul C. Anything like that.
We definitely don't get that classic Eric B and Rakim album, of course. I don't know if you get a classic album with Eric B and Freddie Fox.
Oh no, you don't get a classic album. No. We'll keep got that what if game. We don't.
And I
don't get paid.
Freddie, I'm not laughing. You see, I'm the only one not laughing.
The bumpy knocks, no disrespect. I just don't think we get that album. But I'm sorry, Gadget, finish.
And I don't know how dope this Kid Ice was. Like, the Fresh Prince is that lyrical, but if Jazzy Jeff had like a lyrical dude back then, oh man, I think he might be further than where he is now as far as production.
I mean, here's the thing. I think the reason why Will and Jeff got so far was because of Will. You know what I mean? As far as not hip hop, but
in the beginning,
period.
In the beginning.
Well, I mean, no, not in the beginning. I'm just saying, like, for Jazzy Jeff to be where he is, a lot of that does come down, in my opinion, to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and him getting them checks to start a Touch of Jazz Studios and everything like that. Because I've heard the stories of, and again, this is Will saying that by the time Fresh Prince came, he was broke. Because he was like, I was trying to, hang out with these Willie niggas in Atlantic City gambling. So by the time he got to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was like almost damn near starting all over again. Again, that doesn't have to be Jeff. But I'm sure those doing the music production for, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and getting them royalty checks from getting thrown out by Uncle Phil definitely helped start a Touch of Jazz and buy all that equipment he got.
He always got work on the soundtracks too to Will films.
Right. So I definitely think Jeff's pocket. I don't know if Jeff can make a Touch of Jazz without those checks from. Because keep in mind, this is '88. Niggas ain't getting big checks anyway. You know what I mean? To officially have a production company, but who knows?
Okay, all right. I would have loved to see a Jazzy Jeff Steady B song at least.
Jazzy Jeff Steady B song. Now here's the wild part, because you from Philly, so Tat Money is nice.
Very nice.
Yes, sir.
Tat is nice. Tat is nice. So it's not like Steady B didn't have a nice DJ. Right. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, no disrespect to Jeff, I don't know if Jeff gives Steady something that much doper than Tat. At that time, Tat, Cash, and Jeff were all to me 1, 2, and 3. You know, and on any given night
Right.
could have switched that position on any given night. But I feel you, Bruce. What you got on that?
Well, I can tell you one thing: Jazz is definitely not getting thrown out the house by Uncle Phil if Ice answers that phone.
Right.
But back to the Freddie Fox, Eric B thing. I always had this idea in my head because I'm a big fan of Eric B and Rakim and Gangstar. So I always wondered, what if it was DJ Premier and Rakim instead of Eric B and Rakim? That was always like something
Good one.
that lingered in my mind.
Yeah, because I mean, Eric B didn't really do shit.
That's
so.
what I was about to say. What does Eric B do?
Right.
So-
Because Marley Marl was producing beats on that album.
That episode on what do you do? you know,
yeah.
But, from what I heard, Eric B was the East Coast Suge Knight, so I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he was able to Brody up in Marley crib, and you know, and he Brody Large Professor for beats, and you know, so he was definitely a Brodier. So,
did Marley get paid for that album?
Did who get paid?
Did Marley Marl get paid for that album?
I don't know. I just know that, you know, anytime I see interviews with both of them, Marley is like, I produced my melody and Eric B and Rakim. And if you hear an interview with with Eric B, he's like, Marley didn't do that. But again, that comes back to the whole, I brought you the record. You know, we're now in that,
Right.
I brought the record. So according to everybody in the Juice Crew, Marley ain't do shit. So,
Exactly.
so it depends on what your philosophy is. If you bring the record, are you the producer? What about you, Gnu?
Like my man was saying, I don't know how what's my man Ice
Ice
that didn't pick up the phone. I don't know how nice he was, but Jeff probably wouldn't have got as far, you know, like everybody said, you know, without Will. And the Freddie Fox and Eric B, I fuck with Freddie Fox. Like everybody said, Rakim was going to get discovered. You know what I mean? Some kind of way, Rakim was going to come out, man. But I don't know. I don't know how Eric B and Freddie Fox collab would have sounded, man.
All right. What about you, JP?
Yeah, I agree with Gnu, man. Rakim would have found his way to us somehow. Just don't know how it would have been. But as far as Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, I feel like, if Ice picked up that phone, we definitely wouldn't have got the Fresh Prince, because I don't think Fresh Prince coming out with just by himself would have been as appealing. You know, even though he was the front man kind of, it still wouldn't have rang off like DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, both of them together. So it might have been like, oh, remember that guy Fresh Prince from back in the day? He was kind of silly, that type of thing.
Like Joe P. Love.
All the good DJs were already snatched. So if Jeff was snatched and Tat was snatched, he had Code Money, you know, so Tat Money, Code Money, Cash Money, and Jazzy Jeff all snatched up. Yeah, we ain't getting Will. What's up with you, Nick? What you think?
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, Will does have charisma. He gets, you know, draws attention to him. But Jeff was like the credibility. He gave him that credibility that he needed because he was kind of a comical style rapper. So yeah, if Ice, like I said, Ice could have been whack. But if he answers that phone, we definitely don't get the Fresh Prince. And I want to say Rakim would have still got discovered, but I don't know. That's a head scratcher. I don't know. If Freddie Fox answered that phone, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else he was connected to in Long Island. Like
Eric Sermon would have found him.
There you go. Yeah. I'm sure somebody up there would have found him.
Again, I just don't know if when I remember Tip was on some show and he was like, yo, when Eric B and President come on, if you don't start doing the WAP, you ain't hip hop. You know what I mean? So I just don't know if Rakim has I Ain't No Joke. Eric B, you know, Eric B.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He don't have them kind of beats.
Don't have those
that
songs.
connection is
Right,
amazing.
so
Yeah, no doubt.
Still it's gonna be Rakim, but without I Ain't No Joke and Eric B's President, and I Know You Got Soul, like that's the foundation of why we love Rakim. You know what I mean? So, Boris, what you think?
I mean, everyone sort of covered it. I echo what everyone else thinks about Will, and then Rakim. I have to say that I think we would have had a Rakim. We would have had the same Rakim. I think he's too. I think what he brought to hip hop was too important to have it just never like manifest itself. And I think that it would have been somebody else that would have discovered Rakim if it wasn't that way. So in that case,
Who's that? What's up, Gage?
We would have lost a lot of classics though. Like there will be no pay to full, no the letter.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
The song from Juice would never happen.
Well, see,
who produced that song?
Which that? Know the Ledge?
Yeah.
That's Bomb Squad.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's one of those things where I totally agree. I think Rakim comes out, but it's almost like saying like, JP, if you got a job and you got a hookup for me at that job, that's perfect. Of course, I'm gonna get a job doing something. You know what I mean? I'm not graduating just to sit around and jerk off and do nothing. I'm gonna
Exactly.
But is it that job that you had that connected me? You know what I mean? Kane, I think Kane would have came out too, but if Kane don't meet Marley, then we don't got Raw. We don't got Ain't No Half Stepping. We don't got Set It Off. We don't have these classic songs.
We also don't have Prince of Dark.
But
I think we would have had.
We don't have Taste of Chocolate.
That wasn't Marley's fault. That wasn't Marley's fault. Kane
Kane did it on his own.
Stop messing with Marley.
That's the way he messed up.
Yeah, Forrest, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I think, you wouldn't have Paid in Full as we know it now, but there would have been something else. Like, it would have still been,
definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, it still would have been a dope album, just something else. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's discrediting artists to say that, like, if it wasn't just this, like, Rakim wasn't like, oh, man, it didn't work out with Eric B. I got to go work at, like, Chick-fil-A. He's chasing an MC's life, so he would have been discovered.
But how do you connect to Marley Marl? I mean, let's be honest. Life is all about connections. I know people, a lot of people who I know who have great jobs. That shit was not off no resume.
Oh, of course.
Here's the thing.
Somebody.
I agree, but here's the thing. He would have just would have been the same outcome. This is how I think of it. Same outcome, longer road to that outcome. So it would have been Rakim potentially featured on some track somewhere, and then it would have been like a Nas situation at live at the barbecue. Like,
I'm glad that you brought up Nas. Say Nas doesn't meet Large Professor. Where does he go? You know what I'm saying? If that connection never happens,
somebody would have found Nas.
Somebody would have found him, but if it ain't Large Professor,
does Large Professor introduce him to Premier?
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. With nice MCs, they make a name for themselves and they attract people.
But here's the wild part. You can have an MC, and we did this last time. What if Large Professor produced all of Illmatic? Is it still the blueprint classic that we know?
No.
Probably not. I can now. He's got.
Who said no?
It could have possibly been.
Yeah.
But it could have possibly been.
For me, I don't think so, because I think the album was dope as hell. The production was incredible, but I don't know. Here's the crazy part. Whenever I ask somebody, what's your favorite song of Illmatic, it ain't never Large Professor song.
Yeah, it's going to be New York State of Mind, One Love.
It was the first super producer album.
The World Is Yours, yeah.
So again, here's the wild part. I just think that there's certain synergy between certain people. I'm a big person that deals with energy. So I'm just like, I think Eric B. and Rakim and Marley Marl did great. I totally agree. And I think Rakim would have came out. He still would have been dope because he's Rakim. But does that production match the same thing? I know Guru ain't as dope as Guru is without Premier. I know CL Smooth as dope as he is without Pete Rock. Like, we've seen this. We've seen what CL does without Pete Rock and what he does with Pete Rock. So it's kind of easy to be like, oh, well, if CL didn't like Pete Rock, and again, somebody saying, well, come on, Kill. Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Rakim, Guru, I get it that these MCs are far stretches from each other, but I do think the person you get with produces a certain type of energy with you. So, but I get it. I totally agree.
The only thing is, you have to remember all of this that we know would have been erased. So we would have been hearing all of this with fresh ears. So it's difficult now because it's so Eric B and Rakim, like they're like a unbreakable chain now. We can't. It's so hard to like think about what it would sound like. But I think if we had never known Eric B and Rakim together, and Rakim came out with somebody else, it would have been that person instead. And I think it would have been just as good. I don't know.
And again, with me, because I'm the producer, I'm always about the beats. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, without that Eric B is president, without that melody, without that paid in full, without that microphone fiend, Rakim could have been spitting the dopest shit ever. But if them beats wasn't as dope, even the Eric Sermon, I just don't think Eric was Marley at that time. But neither here nor there. This could go on forever. Porsche, you gave me this one. What if Illmatic was never made? What is the blueprint? The album that's the blueprint that we hold everybody as a standard to. So as everybody says, oh, I tell my kids all the time, hey, if you want to learn about hip hop, listen to Illmatic. And if you want to listen to Illmatic.
I already got the answer to that one.
Come out. What is the album that's the hip hop standard?
Yeah.
They're saying, listen to this if you want to be an MC. And here's the wild part. I done had this question all week, and I don't fucking know. So
I made up the question, and I don't know.
Right. So this may be where we end the show with that one, because unless anybody got an answer, I honestly have been thinking about this for a week, and I honestly don't know what would be the album that we say, listen to this to be an MC.
I don't know.
Southern playlist of Cadillac music? I don't know.
No,
I know.
definitely not.
I can guarantee you it ain't that. And I love it. There's no disrespect. Nobody is. No, you want to learn how to rhyme? Listen to this goddamn Outkast album.
Oh, you're talking about rhyme. I'm thinking more production. That's why.
No. This Illmatic is the holy grail. Like I always mess with F. People act like if Illmatic didn't come out, hip hop would have died in 1993. So what if Illmatic didn't come out? What would be the album that we say this is the holy grail and we all bow down to and worship every?
Well, can I answer this?
Yeah, what you got, Nick?
Coming from the South, Illmatic ain't that important to me, so I would have lived on. I wouldn't be saying like, "Yo, listen to this if you want to know how to rap," because Illmatic, it was a great album. But it wasn't that to me. It wasn't from the rib of Adam. You know what I mean?
Right. No, so, I agree with you. But then what would be? What would be the album?
Here's the thing. Just to clarify something. The reason why I said that particular question was because I feel like Illmatic drops, and then every artist or most artists look to that album as like the blueprint for an instant classic album. So artists try to kind of in that fashion make an album. You know, this many tracks, this storytelling, this album cover art, this like track listing and all of that kind of stuff. So that's, I think in that regard, that's why I don't know.
Oh, I got the answer. Ready to Die. That album came out 3 months later. It had more of an impact. That's the album.
For me, it would have been Black Moon's first album.
That's a good one too.
As dope as it is, it didn't really.
So Gadget, you would tell an MC, like, cause you meet everybody, you would be like, if you met somebody new and you said, and like you want to learn about hip hop, you would hand them into the stage.
Yeah, because I mean, back then Buckshot was on his shit.
Boom bap.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Buck was spitting.
Like back then, there wasn't many MC, but Buck was top 10 back then.
He was easily.
I'll tell you
top 5.
About Buck. Yeah. We gotta do a show about shit rappers used to say that they can't say now. Because I was like, you can't say that now. Like,
no.
It was like, yo, I only fuck with light skin, fuck them black Zulu bitches. I'm like, oh, no. We don't really guilt you for that one. Black skin, dark skin, they would have been outside duck down offices, or you would have been done that.
Ducking down.
Yeah, ducking down. We gotta do a whole show with that of like, you know, or I be wanting to tell white people like, you do know Common that says some ill shit, and you got this dude selling computers and everything. Like,
right.
Back in the day, and then now he's selling computers, he's on everything. But
I can't believe they think The Rock is white.
Hey,
like,
people grab on whatever. Bruce, do you got an answer? Or you kind of stuck too?
I'm thinking of, because when you say that, I'm thinking of it more as like the production wise, because like as a rapping, I don't know what the blueprint would be. because when I think of Illmatic, I think that's like the first big super producer album.
Right.
So you got P Rock, Premier.
That to me is what opened the door, because I always tell people prior to, everybody just produced for their crew. So after it kind of was like this oh shit moment, like, oh shit, I can produce outside of my crew. Like, and then that's what started. But as far as MCing, like my first reaction, because my favorite album is It Takes a Nation. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I'm gonna hand It Takes a Nation to an upcoming MC and be like, this blueprint.
Not that one.
I feel what you're saying as far as the rhyming goes.
I would probably agree with Nick. I would probably. Oh my bad.
No, go ahead. You got it.
No, so I would probably agree with Nick. I would probably say Ready to Die at that point.
Okay. Ready to Die. All right. What about you?
Yeah.
I mean, all the albums everybody named were you know, I wouldn't argue with you, but I would probably say like Into the 36, like Wu-Tang's first album.
Okay.
You know,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that's a good one. Or like Midnight Marauders, man.
Okay. What about you, JP?
Yeah, that's hard. I'm not too sure. I feel like production-wise, Midnight Marauders, yeah, but as far as that well balanced of lyrical skill and great beats, and without, you know, Illmatic is that, because I mean, you can say Ready to Die, but Ready to Die was really, you know, I mean, his skill level, big skill level was crazy, but you know, he talked from a certain perspective, but Nas, like, Biggs spoke like a drug dealer nigga from the street, whatever, but Nas spoke like a nigga from the hood, who wasn't necessarily a drug dealer nigga. He may have dabbled, but he was a poet who grew up in the hood. So it's hard to replace
Good Kid,
that
Mad
album.
City before Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah, it's hard to replace that album, man. Like, I don't know if I could, but Into the Stage is a good one, because Buckshot was on his shit on that album. So I don't know. I might have to go with that.
Right. I might go with Criminal Minded.
You know what? I'm not mad at that either.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Good one. I can't.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Porsche.
Yeah. All right. Look at you, Porsche, coming up with these hard ass questions and then coming up with hard ass answers too.
But like, the more I think about it, I'm kind of falling with the Black Moon crowd, because even, you know, End of the Stage, but 94 with those remixes and B-sides.
Oh yeah, the remixes. Yeah.
Like Buck. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that more.
All right. I'm gonna have to go with Porsche and say Criminal Minded.
Like, I would say Ready. You know me. I would say Ready to Die for everything.
But no, see, I love Criminal Minded, but Criminal Minded was like 87. 87.
Yeah, something like that. 87, 86, something like that.
All right. Since we're still talking about Nas, what if Nas actually released the OG album of I Am? Does this certify him, solidify him as the GOAT? So there aren't no bootlegs. This is the real version that everybody was like, if this would have came out, nobody would be talking shit about Nas. Is Nas the GOAT? Now, somebody may already say Nas is the GOAT. So if you think Nas is the GOAT, just solidify him as the GOAT. Does this move him up if I Am comes out the way that it was supposed to? Porsche, what do you think?
I think that it would. I think Illmatic solidified Nas as the GOAT. And I don't think that there's anything. I mean, we know how everybody feels about Nas can't pick beats. Nostradamus is trash. This album sucks. Like, he gets a lot of slander for a lot of his catalog. I think what would have helped was that people would cut him some slack in that regard. And I think that's the only thing that really would have changed. It would have had less of a dip in his quality of albums rather than anything else. I don't think it would again affect his ranking or accolades or legendary status or GOAT status or anything like that. I just think it would have made it easier to speak to his catalog, if that makes sense.
All right, no doubt. What you got, Nick?
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I think you have Illmatic. It was written, which, you know, I love that album, even though most people kind of say it was a dip in quality. I think he was a better rapper on that album, me personally. If I Am comes out the way it was meant to, because Jay-Z is very calculated. If I Am comes out the way it was meant to come out, I don't think Jay takes that jab at Nas.
Okay.
So I definitely think that would have made him more bulletproof earlier in his career. Damn, that Firm album is still there though. But yeah, but solo wise, yeah. I think that would have made him more bulletproof. I think people would have been, and then he wouldn't have been like his back against the wall, having to fight out the corner type of mentality. I think so. I think that would have solidified him. 3 bangers in a row.
All right, cool. What about you, JP?
Now tell me about this, because I don't know about this thing. How it's supposed to come out? What's all that about?
Well, to be honest, Nick, I would let you speak on that because I'm not really up. I just know that everybody's always like the joints that ended up on the lost tape.
Lost tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
all of that stuff.
Oh,
So
I don't think it. I mean, it would have helped. Like Portia said, it would have helped, but I don't necessarily think it would have solidified him as the GOAT, because it's still a lot of projects that weren't up to par. You know, I mean, it's kind of like the conversation with people, like if you're talking football, between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Like Aaron Rodgers, he athletically, skill-wise, people say he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady, but Tom Brady got the rings and accolades and all that. So that's how I feel about Nas. You know what I'm saying? He has a skill level, but he doesn't have the certain number of classic body of work.
Yeah.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I see what Nick is saying too, because if you have I Am come out and you have 3, see, the only problem is that so many people our age don't like it was written. So I think that's the dip. Whereas with me, I love it was written.
Yeah, I like it too. It wasn't as good as Illmatic, which most of us know that, but it was still a good album.
Right. So I think that, but if it was the 3 in a row, I think that definitely, like Portia said, definitely kind of may not solidify him as the GOAT, but that's just like, wow, you got 3 dope albums in a row. What do you think, Anu?
So I Am was that the joint with Hate Me Now on it?
Yeah. But it wasn't like originally
I ain't fuck with that album, man. I don't really remember. I'm being honest. I ain't really.
I don't think a lot of people fuck with the album because that wasn't the way it was supposed to come out. So if you take out I Am and you put in the lost tapes, if you go from Illmatic, it was written to lost tapes.
Yeah, cause like lost tapes, you had Blazer 50, Fetus, Papa Was a Player.
Yeah,
It was
that was
another
better
one.
than
It's like 4 or
Yeah,
5 tracks off of that.
Yeah.
Project Windows from Nostradamus. With like Small World, Undying Love, Nas's Light, New York State of Mind 2. That would have been better received, I think.
So the way the album came out wasn't the way it was supposed to come out. You know, we going through a time of sample clearance. A lot of people, that's back when Ghost albums was, you know what I mean? They weren't clearing samples. So, but if you just if you just close your eyes and forget about Hate Me Now and I Am, and you just put in the lost tapes, do you think that solidifies Nas as even being greater what he is? 3 back-to-back, almost classic albums.
You still asking me? Yeah, I don't think so, because like I said, like I forget who said it, but he was already solidified with Illmatic, son.
All right.
So, you know.
All right. What you think, Bruce?
I don't think too much will change. I think, well, when you say like songs from lost tapes, like Fetus and stuff, would be on the album, it would make his discography look a little better. But either way, all his albums after Illmatic were going to be compared to Illmatic. So,
right, that's the bad thing about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Gadget?
I don't think anything would have changed. I think people judge him off of Illmatic, period.
Right.
Like, I think he still would have been great. You know, Nas has always had dips in his career, but people go back to Illmatic. Nobody goes back and says, "Oh, what about that I Am album?" Or nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, "Oh, what about that Genuine song?" Like, no. Like, nobody ever says that. Illmatic will and always be his greatest, and that's what he's going to be compared to. So,
all right, no doubt. Got 2 joints here about death. What if Sub Rock from KMD didn't die? What do you think KMD's career would look like? Because we don't get MF Doom.
Can I start this?
No Doom.
Yeah, I got you, Bruce. So for people who don't know, KMD, It was Zev Love X, Sub Rock, and I think Onyx was his name.
Yeah, he was out by the second album though.
Right, he was out by the second album. But Sub Rock dies. You know, Zev Love X goes into this.
Homeless.
Like homeless. He's sleeping on, and he's just everything. And he comes back in 1998 as MF Doom. He wears the masks. The funniest thing about MF Doom to me is that this motherfucker has people stand in for him when he doesn't want to perform at times.
He's a real villain.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to put on the mask. So, you know, you got to like, I don't feel like doing the show
that
tonight.
Shit's so crazy and so
like, right. It's like, yo, Nick, go do a show for me, man. Go.
Right?
I'm going to go make this double money. I'm going to do a show in Philly. You do one. Yo, Gnu, you in Jersey? Yo, you know my lyrics? Yo, go check this out.
Right.
So, if Sub Rock doesn't die, what do you think of KMD's career would have looked like? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big MF Doom fan. I know Mad Villainy. I don't know a lot about him. The mask just never got to me. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So again, not saying it's whack, but I tell people every day is about what speaks to you. Outside of Mad Villainy, it speaks to me, so I don't know a lot about MF Doom. But Bruce, you want to take it first? What you got?
Yes, Doom is my favorite rapper of all time.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So my life will be affected a lot. So, with KMD, it would be crazy because their second album got shelved anyway.
Right.
So they might not even have had a career, even if he's still stayed alive. We definitely. I don't even think if Doom probably doesn't become Doom, which also means Madlib may not even be put in the same regard that he is now, because Mad Villainy was a masterpiece. Madlib's also like him and Premier are my favorite producers of all time.
No, Madlib will still be around.
Yeah,
he will still be around. He will still be around, but
I get what he's saying because Mad Villainy that's like his magnum opus to people.
Oh, it is. It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just didn't know that's like. So if you take Mad Villainy out of his discography, like Madlib drops.
Not to me. I'm just
not to me, but to the masses or whatever scene, because Mad Villainy influenced a lot of people after them, like Odd Futures, Flatbush Zombies, and all that. So, because I think about that a lot, because those are my two favorite artists ever.
Right.
So that would change a lot, and I definitely wouldn't be making beats right now if that didn't happen.
That's huge. What you think, Gadget?
There'll be no MF Doom. I think I don't know. I think honestly, I think the reason they did release Black Bastards is because MF Doom was so popular and they wanted to capitalize off the money. I don't think that album ever comes out.
Right.
All right. What about you, Gnu?
I'm with my man Bruce. I'm a Doom fan, but KMD causing much damage. I don't know if they would have lasted. You know, they was I think they was one of those '90s groups that I think would have faded away. And if Sub Rock hadn't have died, then you know, Zev Love, he wouldn't have went through all that dark shit. You know what I mean? To transform into Doom, like everybody said, man. So.
Yo, I'm gonna give everybody, but Bruce, tell me, is there any type of because this nigga really went through a lot. Like, is there any documentation on this? Like, is there a documentary? Is there anything like a YouTube clip? Like, is there any story?
No, you might find some YouTube shit. You might find some shit.
All right,
on YouTube, maybe.
All right.
I haven't seen any like footage of that era, like pre-Doom, post-KMD.
No social media back then.
Right, like
the crazy thing is what made me ask that is because what Gnu said, I truly believed it. Like he was transformed into Doom. Like this wasn't just some old fake shit. Like, oh fuck that. This. Like he literally was transformed into a whole nother being. You know what I mean? And it's just like I would just love to, hear a little bit more about that. But JP, what you got?
Yeah, I agree with Gnu, man. Like I feel like KMD would have been one of those '90s groups that would have faded because it was too much competition, man. Especially with groups at that time.
Because you had Tribe, you had
LOL, NWA, and all that. It was a lot. EPMD, it was a lot. So and
it's not like their first album was a classic or anything.
They were introduced through Third Base, right? Another group,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know if they would have survived.
And Bruce, you made a good point. It's not like Mr. Hood is a classic. Good album, but it's not a classic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point too. Nick,
what about you? A lot of dudes wasn't rocking Peach for us.
Right.
What about you, man?
I mean, yeah, they already said it, man. Like, even if the second album comes out, and I like the second album, even if that comes out, I don't think it does well commercially.
Because it was much darker. It was much darker than
yeah.
Black Master was better.
So they would have got dropped anyway, and like everybody else said, like his brother dying is what made him become Doom. So without that death, we don't get Doom. So no telling what they would have been doing.
Porsche, what about you?
I mean, there's nothing more to say. I think everyone kind of said every aspect of
y'all are watching how I freak this. I try to go in opposite directions so the person.
No, but I mean, there's not much else to say. Like it's pretty clear that without that happen, like obviously the MF Doom persona kind of got created from that situation. So it's very almost like easy to say that would have never happened. So I think everyone I echo whatever everyone else says, because that's pretty much every single angle of it.
All right, cool.
But you know who you could reach out to for like information or tidbits in that period between KMD and Doom, like on Bobito.
Yeah,
because I know they had a relationship.
They fondled him. Bob's record put out Black Bastards. Released it was
he would probably know something, and shit, you can find Curious George. He probably ain't busy right now. With a J, not with a G.
What's his name now? His name is some other shit now.
Oh, he's still
out. He just goes by Curious with a K.
Yeah, I think just Curious. All right, I got another one. What if Kid Hood did not die? What kind of career he would have had? And for people watching the Scenario remix, Buster tells you we got these MCs. One is in Spiritual Essence, goes by the name of Hood, and Kid Hood just proceeds to just rip the hinges off of the whole fucking track. I'm just like,
let me go. I want to go first.
All right, I got you. So, and the thing that I always say about Kid Hood, here's the great thing about Tip, and I want a documentary made on Tip before this man dies so we can get him his roses. Tip has had his hands in so much of hip-hop. You know what I mean? He has an eye for talent. There is no Dilla without Tip discovering him, in my opinion. And I'm not saying Dilla wouldn't have existed. I'm just saying he may have not have been able, again, those hookups. Tip is who introduced him to Dave.
He actually found Rod Digger.
Huh?
He actually found Rod Digger. Like, he found Rod Digger. Tribe was in turmoil, so he's like, yo, Buster, take care of her. She nice.
Okay, wow. I had no idea about that. So this is why this documentary. But I know for me, I always thought Kid Hood, and I don't mean to say it like this, but I'm always like, Kid Hood could have been Nas before Nas. You know what I mean? Because Porsche, I saw the look. I know, but I'm just saying
that verse, man.
This one verse so flat out amazing.
Yes, it was. I agree
that was totally against anything native tongue. This nigga talking about I'm wild like Larry Davis. Like this, you know what I mean? Like the stuff he was talking was not like a native tonguish talking to, you know. So I think he would have had, and if God forbid, if Tip would have produced this in 1990 before Midnight Mirage, like 93, 94 Tip. Yo, this nigga may have been Nas before Nas. JP, what you got?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said Nas before Nas. I'd have said Biggie before Biggie, actually.
Okay.
That's a better comparison.
It's more aligned with Biggie than Nas.
Right.
But, like you said, with the Tips beats, like it was yo, Gadget. He might have got some Mobb Deep beats before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah. It might have been a whole different. It might have been a different landscape had he still been alive. It might have been a different landscape. Or if he had been on the Infamous album, because of Tip with not, you know what I'm saying?
And yo, JP, here's the other part that's ill. The reason why I always said Nas for Nas is because at that time, we're looking at like 92. So Black Moon isn't out yet. We don't have Buckshot Shorty yet.
Right.
We don't have Biggie. We don't have any type of MC that's of that type of street, fuck the world caliber that Hood was giving us. And again, if Tip is doing the beats prior to Midnight Marauders, so we're hearing some of that type Tip, it should have been nasty. Porsche, I mean, Gadget, what do you think?
I think you're right on some level. There would be a void that was filled at that time for street rap, period.
Right.
At that time. And honestly, I think with Tip, he would have gone on. He would be probably where Rock Marciano is right now.
You said you think Hood would be where Rock Mars is?
Yeah, as far as making underground classics.
Right. All right, cool. No doubt. Bruce, what you got?
I really don't have nothing much. He was what's the guy's name again?
Who's that? Kid Hood?
Kid Hood. He was on Scenario, right?
Yeah, he was on a Scenario remix. He's the one who set it off.
Remix.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that song in like a while, so I don't really have anything.
I don't care if you haven't heard that song in 100 years, right? You know. It doesn't matter.
Sounds like he wasn't that impressed, my man.
Like, it doesn't matter if you ain't heard it in 50 years. Like, Kid Hood, like, amazing, man. All right, what you got, Gnu?
You know, with Hood, if he would have lived, I just hope that somewhere down the line of that shit would cancel out Consequence.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
great point. Now that brings up something totally different. Because I
know that's still cousin and all that, but
without Consequence, there's no Kanye.
I don't know if there's no Kanye without Kanye.
He did a lot of ghostwriting.
There's still Kanye without Consequence. Now, even though I guess Quince wrote his rhymes, I still think that Ye is still Ye. But I got a Ye question coming up for y'all too. So stay tuned for the Ye. Nick, what about you with Hood?
Yeah, I agree with what everybody else said. Like that verse was just, I mean, you couldn't, when you heard it, you couldn't hear nothing else. It's like rewind. Like it took me a while to hear the rest of the song, honestly, because it was just a great verse. You know what I'm saying?
You know the funny thing about that? That's how I felt about that Control joint. That Sean, not Pretty Sean, Little Sean. Big
Pretty Sean.
I like Big Little Sean.
Pretty Big Sean.
To this day, never raps after Kendrick. I've still never heard that. I've never heard the Lex verse. I've never heard anybody after Kendrick verse. So
because when that came out, it was coming out just Kendrick verse. Like on YouTube, they didn't even like put.
And that's how Hood was.
Right. That's how. So when you said that, it made me think of that. Like to this day, I still have not. And people like, yo, Jay Elect killed it. I don't know because.
But check this out. My thing is, God bless the dead. Fife was jealous of Q-Tip.
Okay.
So Q-Tip putting his energy and time into Kid Hood. Maybe we don't get Midnight Marauders.
Right.
Hey,
I can see that.
Going back to that Scenario remix, stop acting like Busta didn't kill it.
No, he did.
I mean, Busta
did.
That's like the most sampled part of the song.
It could be the most sampled song in the history of music. Still fucking killed that verse. Like, I don't rewind Busta's verse. I rewind Kid Hood.
Hold up. But Busta said we'll let Bring It Back Come Rewind. You ain't have to rewind it.
No, that was the first.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first
remix.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. Like the remix version was good, but not better than the OG.
And again, I think for Kid Hood, and at that point, I Busta kind of was like not the token, but I knew Busta was gonna kill whatever he was on. There was a point where Busta killed everything.
Yes.
For me, it was like we said at that time. We were coming out of people's instinctives. Everybody was flower children in hip hop. No, I wasn't ready for no kidhood. I wasn't ready for the shit that he was spitting. Like he was spitting like a rapper who be spitting in '94. He was spitting like that in '91. You know what I mean? So, like he was ahead of his time with that. Again, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This nigga said Larry Davis. Most people don't know who Larry Davis was.
Right. People now know who Larry Davis is.
Yeah, I don't know who Larry Davis is. So, you know, and extra, and grab my dick like I'm a bad. Oh my God. Porsche, what about you?
Well, thinking about it while you guys were talking, I have to maybe kind of agree with you that maybe he would have been the Nas before Nas, because if you think about it, it only took one verse for everyone to go crazy over Nas and anticipate Illmatic, right? So
barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it very well could have been. And I don't know that I agree with Tip putting all his energy into kidhood and then Phife being jealous. I think at that time, I don't think there was problems within Tribe at that time, right? So they were pretty solid.
Yeah, but see, Tip didn't start producing outside of Tribe until after Midnight Marauders. So
right.
If he producing Kid Hood album, so we talking 92, 93.
Yeah.
That's when he was working on Midnight Marauders.
And I mean, Tip was doing things here and there. Like Tip did Gangsta Bitch for Apache. You know, Tip did, you know,
tracks, not whole album.
He did Lie Smooth. You know, so Tip was kind of dabbling here and there, throwing some beats around. But yeah, I one of my philosophies is like Tribe broke up like a marriage after Phife moved to Atlanta,
yeah.
And then it was like I felt like Tip was like, all right, fuck this shit. I've been doing this under the Tribe banner. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that's why we started getting all this, you know, all this outside production. Now, Porsche, I got something that I'm starting with you with. What if Suge did not bail Pac out of jail? Okay? Now, this ain't about East Coast, West Coast. What if Pac did not get bailed out of jail? When Pac does get out, what do you think his music would sound like? Would he have continued with the Dear Mama type thing? What do you think Pac would have been like if he didn't get bailed out of jail?
Well, I think it was Machiavelli that came out after that because he had to do that off of the contract with Suge, right?
Well, Suge never.
All eyes
on me.
All eyes on me, and then okay. Wow. Damn, why are you starting with me on this one? I gotta think about this one.
You like
I know, but I gotta think about this one.
Give us some time to go. I'll go.
Nick, what you got, Nick?
I think it still would have been some anger when he got out because, I mean, he felt like Cat set him up at the studio shooting. So this was like before he went to jail, right?
Yeah.
The studio, he got shot at Quad Studio.
It was Quad, yeah.
Yeah, then he got locked up. So he still would have had some anger, but I don't think it would have been as much. I still feel like Suge was just a negative influence. And he tried to prove his loyalty so hard that it got him into situations that he couldn't get out of. He got murdered because he was messing with some gang shit. And that's not what he was.
Now, here's the thing. Here's a question, because y'all know I don't know shit about Pac. I just remember the Vibe interview where he had the glasses on and the big joint, and it was like, I remember reading this and being like, Thug Life is dead. Give that to somebody else. I'm changing my life. And I think that's one of the reasons and then after reading that, the very next time I saw Pac was the California Love video shoot, and now he's a thug. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck happened? You know, that
night, man.
Right, but at that age, I wasn't mature enough to understand, okay, he got bailed out of jail, all that. So even with the anger in the jail, he's giving these interviews like, yo, Thug Life is over. Like, you know, I'm done with that lifestyle. Like, that's not me anymore. You know?
It would have definitely been more Dear Mama-ish type of joints.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it would have been, I think there would have still been some anger. I think it would have fizzled out pretty quick because of the direction that Pac was trying to go anyways. But I definitely think it would have been more Dear Mama-ish and less angry. And I think Suge was definitely a very, very bad and big influence in that.
That's
For
what I was
sure.
about to say. So without Suge in the equation, I think him and Biggie would have been able to talk and squash whatever issues they had.
All right. What about you, JP?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, Suge put that battery in his back, and you know what I'm saying, to be more negative like that, especially, after the Saucer Wars, all that happened while, Pac was in jail at that time, wasn't he?
No, Pac was at the Source Award.
Oh, he was at the Source then?
Yeah.
I thought that was the one before.
He was at the one in '94. I think he might have been locked up in '95 though.
Okay. Yeah, the one I'm talking about, the one where Suge was on the stage.
I'm sure. Because it was just Snoop and Dre, and that was
Snoop and Dre and them. Yeah. So
I could have been there.
I feel like he, like you said, after doing that stint in jail and no Suge bailing him out, he was a smart dude, man. He level-headed. Like he probably enough of it. And like you said, Nick, he probably would have had a little anger in him, but it wouldn't have been to the level it was once he got out and signed with Death Row. You know what I mean?
Right. So. All right, what you got, Canoe?
I don't know. I ain't really no Pac fan, man. So I ain't got much on.
You like on some Justin shit. Yo, nigga, pass the mic, man. Like, give a Pete Rodriguez. Pass the mic, nigga. Just go next nigga. I don't fuck with that nigga. I ain't had no answer. I'm just asking a question this go round. So I feel you. Bruce, what do you think?
I don't know. Musically, of course, I wonder what would his production sound like if he don't go to Death Row.
Quick question: who was doing Pac's production on like the Dear Mama album? Like, who was that? Do y'all know?
Wasn't Easy Mo B doing a couple?
Easy Mo B was on there.
Yes, Easy Mo B was on there a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that. All right, my fault, Bruce.
Yeah, and then maybe he takes the Cool J route. Maybe he does more acting after that. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, because
that's why I feel if he didn't die, I feel like he would have eventually done more acting anyway.
Yeah, of course.
That's how I always felt.
Here's the wild part. On the low, I think Pac may be one of the dopest rappers turned actor because
he's an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
He's an actor more than a rapper. He
right.
went to acting school.
I totally because I love. There was a joint. What's it called? He got the joint where he's with my white boy and they're like heroin addicts.
Yeah, Gridlock.
I love Gridlock. I thought he was dope in that. I thought he was dope in the joint with Jim Belushi or something that was gang related. Gang related. I think Pac was an awesome actor. Gadget, what about you?
Number one, Biggie would still be here.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Because I think he probably would have still been mad, but I don't think it would have been to the level of having somebody killed. Like, I don't think California. Like, if he doesn't go back to California, Dre and Death Row would just keep on going.
Right.
If Big doesn't go back to California?
No. If Pac doesn't go to California,
okay.
I think Dre would have still left.
Yeah. But
Pac stayed in Atlanta because he was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
When he was getting out of jail, and then took him to L.A. So I see what Gadget's saying. If he doesn't go to L.A.
Yeah, Death Row just keeps on going with Snoop in the Dog Pound without
Pac, right?
Without Pac.
But they were going to do the whole Death Row East thing.
Right, I remember that. But that's what I thought that was once Pac got.
Yeah, that was what Pac and the Outlaws. Yeah.
I don't think Suge had after the Source Awards.
Well, Suge was in that. Well, when Pac did the interview for that, Suge was standing right there with him.
No, but what we're saying
investing in it.
Pac never goes to Suge. Like, I don't think Suge is trying to do an East Coast Death Row if Pac never goes to it.
I don't know.
I mean, the nigga just stood up at Source Awards and basically said "fuck New York." So I don't know if you.
Because he did say if you don't want your
that is true.
All in the video and come
that is true. That is true. So he really did say "fuck New York." I apologize for the misquote. If
you know, trying to start stuff. See,
I'm not trying to start.
Vibe magazine.
I know it's a long show. I only got a couple more left. Tell me this: what if? And we talked about this once before. What if DOC never gets into this car accident?
Oh, man.
Now, here's the thing. Does Cube win the diss war against NWA? So basically, in a nutshell, I'm asking, if Cube leaves, DOC is still DOC, just as sharp as he ever was, and he joins NWA. Cube, basically, I'm asking who's gonna be doper, Cube or DOC? Because after No Vaseline, it was like, all right, it's a wrap. Cube won. But if you got DOC in your pocket and it's DOC and Ren and that, what do you think? I personally always I prefer DOC over Cube. You know what I mean?
I think he's the better MC.
Rapper, the better MC than Ice Cube. So I definitely think that Cube.
But Ice Cube would have got the rest of them.
Breaking my heart.
I mean, he may got the rest of them, but I'm just saying, you got DOC. If you got, it's almost like that episode of The Wire, first season, when they're playing him and Prop Joe and Avon are going back and forth, and then Avon's winning, and then Prop Joe throws in some surprise dude who comes in and just like kills everybody. And like, if you throw DOC in the mix, like it ain't like niggas for life. Like Ren was spitting, you know what I mean? You know, and then you throw a hungry DOC, like I personally believe that, and I know I'm the minority in this, so Twitter, there's no reason to at me. I personally like no one can do it better than any Ice Cube album, and I understand that I'm the minority in that.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
I love no one can do it better. The formula funky enough. There are just joints on there, and again, I y'all know me. I love being the only one. That shit does not bother me at all.
No doubt.
But for me personally, I think DOC and NWA, you know, hit them back with something just as vicious, if not more vicious than No Vaseline. Gadget, what you got?
No.
Okay.
I disagree with everything you just said. But what I do want to say, I think if DOC doesn't get into the car accident, Death Row never happens.
Because Suge is DOC was the one who introduced Suge to Dre. But why do you think that wouldn't happen? Because if I'm not mistaken,
because him and DOC were perfectly fine on Priority,
right?
On Priority Records.
But weren't they perfectly fine? But weren't they? Because wasn't Priority? No, because Ruthless was on Priority. So. So if they were getting jerked on Ruthless Priority, let me find DOC real quick over here.
I don't think he was under.
I don't think DOC was on that though, was he?
He wasn't under Ruthless. I don't think.
No, I don't think he was on Ruthless.
DOC's on Ruthless.
Oh,
this is
really?
Records. Yeah, this is on.
What's the distribution on that?
This is Priority. So Ruthless.
Okay.
No. Ruthless Records distributed by Atlantic.
Yeah, see, he was different. He wasn't tied to Priority like the rest.
Okay, all right. So I see what you're saying, Gaz. So you're saying that they would have been fine without that.
Exactly.
All right. What about you, Bruce? What you think?
Think about that. Did y'all see the G-Funk documentary on YouTube?
Nah, I
didn't see it.
No.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what would Doggy Style become? Because Snoop and DOC was writing together a lot. So they was like, he was giving them advice on like bar structure, song structure, and stuff. So I was like, would Doggy Style be what it was?
Yeah, because I think it's almost like I felt like with DOC, it was almost like a basketball player getting injured and then going on to like coach, like you know, like for instance, people know I love God Sham God, and he's an assistant coach out in Dallas. He does a lot of clinics with handles and dribbling and everything like that. It was almost like as an athlete, you can't do it anymore, but now you're helping to coach other people to get better. So I see what you're saying. DOC kind of started coaching Snoop and other people on how to, you know, write bars and make dope stuff. Gnu, what about you?
I don't know, man. That's hard, man. I like both guys, and Ice Cube and DOC. So you're saying that if what was the what if again?
So basically, DOC never loses his voice. He's still just as dope as he is. Cube leaves NWA. Dre's like, I don't give a fuck because I got DOC. Bring him on in. DOC joins NWA. And the war of words that go back and forth, is it, you know, as easy as, oh, you know, he wins with No Vaseline because now we got DOC over here doing some shit too.
Yeah, that's hard to say. Doc is the harder MC. So I would give it to those guys, man. I would give it to Dre and Doc and them, man.
All right.
Let's stop thinking Cube wouldn't have nothing for DOC.
No, I'm not.
I think it would just
I'm not saying I wouldn't say he doesn't have anything for him. I'm just saying I personally think DOC was a better MC than Ice Cube was.
Yeah, but no Vaseline would have killed everybody all over again.
I mean, but here's
but not that easily. That's
what
I think.
You got DOC in your back pocket. DOC is clapping back with something.
Exactly.
Like, so it's gonna be like, oh shit.
So is DOC better than Ren? Is DOC better than Ren?
Hell yeah, DOC is better than Ren.
I think so.
Hell yeah, like that's not even a question.
Oh my god.
Yo, DOC. If I go back to 1988, when I remember seeing Funky Enough and being like, yo, what the fuck is this? The beat, everything. I was like, yo, what the fuck is like, this is something that. And then I see Easy to be, I'm like, oh shit, this nigga's down with them niggas. Like, it was the formula. Yo, oh my, let me pull out this DOC again. Yo, mind blowing? God. I mean, the grand
I think Ren is better.
I mean, I feel you, but I definitely got DOC. JP, what you got?
Yeah, I think DOC would have lit Ice Cube the fuck. Let me tell you something. A part of that is because DOC has an ill voice. Yeah. Besides the bars, the voice, the way it sounds, and plus he had he was good with the throwing the reggae vibe in there. You know what I'm saying? His little accent or whatever. I think that would have caught a lot of people and got a lot of people's attention. So it'd have been a good back and forth. But I mean, as it stands now, we all know that Ice Cube got the better of them. It wouldn't have been that case if DOC was. It wouldn't have been that way. Right. It's almost like if you ever got jumped and you like, shit, if my bigger brother was here. I'm the only person from Philly who's ever been jumped, but it's like, man, if such and such was here, that shit went down like that. Like, yo, even though your big brother taught you how to fight, you still need him there with you. Right, like and trust me, if you ran the streets as much as I did, you had the moments of, man, if such and such was here, if my man Sean was here, that shit wouldn't have happened. It's funny, I remember when Joe Budden got snuffed in the eye by Wu-Tang niggas. I remember Royce coming out and being in the middle of the niggas like, yo, y'all know that shit wouldn't have happened if I was here. And niggas was just like, well, it was mumbles, but Royce like, that shit wouldn't have happened if I was here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's and Detroit niggas, man.
But nobody was like, man, fuck you. It was like, that shit wouldn't have happened.
That's the Detroit niggas. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about DOC. Like, I'm not saying it would have been a sweep, like he just would have ran a Boston on Cube, but it just wouldn't have went down just like that. What about you, Nick?
As dope as DOC is, man, no Vaseline was vicious, man. I just can't ignore that, man. Like, that was a vicious song, bro.
All right.
That made NWA break up. And it's like, man, it's over. I
feel you. Like I said, I just think there would have been one more.
It would have been better. It would have been more competitive, but No Vaseline was nasty, man.
Yeah, I feel you. You know, the funny thing about with No Vaseline with me, I hated that beat. I thought that beat did not connect with a diss record. Like, I always look at diss records. This shit got to be hard. And like No Vaseline, I felt like doing a goddamn dance. I felt like doing the Bismarck too. Like, I'm like, this beat goddamn happy.
Pumping that shit. Like, everybody's dancing to that.
I feel you, Porsche. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, again, I agree with what everyone's saying. I just don't think that. I mean, Ice Cube for me is better than DOC, but I don't think that it would have. No Vaseline wouldn't have had the impact that it had because there would have been a clapback, like somebody said earlier. I don't think it would have been as landslide for Ice Cube as it has been. That's the only thing I think would be different.
Right. And keep in mind, I'm not saying they would have won, or maybe I am. I don't know. I'm just saying it wouldn't have been as easy.
No, it wouldn't have
been as easy, but No Vaseline broke him up. Trust that, because he was like, y'all niggas getting jerked by this white motherfucker, Jerry Heller. They was thinking after that record, like, you know what? This white motherfucker is jerking us.
Right. I totally agree with that. I'm just saying that there would have been. It's almost like if you ever seen a nigga get sucker punched and he don't punch back. If a nigga gets sucker punched and another nigga overpass him, hit you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that the other sucker punch wins the fight, but I'm just saying it would have went down like that. Got two more. I know I'm keeping y'all late. Here's a great album, Marley Marl, one of my favorite albums, In Control, my second favorite produced album. If you look at the front, if you look at this cover, everybody who was here was supposed to go to a session at Marley's house to go do the symphony. At this time, so you see there's MC Shan, it's G-Rap, it's Craig G, it's Master Ace, it's G-Rap, and Biz. Everybody's supposed to go to Marley's house to do the symphony. At this time, MC Shan was the most popular MC in this picture. MC Shan says, fuck them niggas, I ain't going.
Good.
Right.
Thank God.
Right.
Good, right. I know, good. So that's how Master Ace got on the symphony, because MC Shan never showed up. We're back to one of them Rakim moments where somebody didn't answer the phone. If MC Shan gets on this album and he's on the symphony, and you take off Master Ace and you have MC Shan, Craig G, Kane, and G-Rap, is the symphony still as dope as what we know it is today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Not what you
I
mean.
think
I think so.
All right, hold up, Kat. Porsche, start with you. What you got?
I mean, no. Like if Shan was there instead of Ace, would it have been as dope? No.
Yeah, what has been as dope?
I don't think so.
All right, cool.
I think Ace is just better.
Right.
All around.
Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I say no. I was never a fan. I was like, thank God you said fuck them new niggas because you was trash. They's a better. Thank God you didn't come.
Right. JP, what about you?
I would say yes, because ultimately, motherfuckers remember Kane and G-Rap on that fucking symphony, man. Those are the two most important verses. So switching out Master Ace and MC Shan don't make a fucking bit of difference. It don't.
Master Ace is on his way to Baltimore right now. Punch you in the mouth.
Anu, what you got on this one?
Yeah, and you know, I didn't know this at the time, but you know, growing up and seeing interviews and seeing Shan personality, I'm like, yo, Shan was a fucking hater, man. So
big time.
It's like I'm glad he wasn't on the record. You know what I mean? But like JP said, the most important verses were G-Rap and Kane. But I mean, because Shan was big at the time, it probably would have. I don't know if it would have been bigger, but it would have been dope to have Shan, Kane, and G-Rap and Craig G. But Shan, he's a hater, man. And the fact that he was like, fuck them niggas, like Nick said, I'm glad he didn't go to the session because Shan was on some sucker shit, man.
All right. What about you, Bruce?
I say yes, because I remember the first time I heard that song, and I was like, because I'm younger, I was born in like 96. So I heard this first time I heard the song in like 08.
Damn.
First time I heard it was like 08.
Oh, hey.
That's the first time I heard it.
Damn.
Like, hey, you old enough to be up this late, young guy? Like,
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Niggas was already rhyming on that instrumental on mixtape.
Nah, but yeah, I think the song would have been, huh?
You're saying it would have been just as dope as what it was?
Yeah, because that beat was so hard.
Yeah,
like,
the beat is dope.
You could put anybody on that.
All right, and what about you, Gad?
You could change out Master Ace and put anybody really, and it's still like the last two. I mean, it was okay, but you could have put fucking Biz. You could have put Biz in the front.
The Master Ace fans is coming for y'all when they watch this
They ain't coming for me.
No, but what I'm saying is everybody cared about Kool G-Rap and Kane. Nobody cared about Master Ace, Craig G, and who else rhymed on the song?
That's it.
That's it. Those four.
Yeah, that was it.
All right. I know for me, I think the song still, I don't know. Something would have been knocked off of it for me because if we go back to the first time we heard the symphony, I probably saw the video. We don't know Kane and G-Rap are coming up. You know what I mean? So now we know that they're there. Now we know those verses are there. But it's like, for me, Ace just sounded perfectly. If Shan would have came on first, I may have fucked around and did a Big Sean and never even listened to the end of the song because Shan would have ruined it. Like, I've never been outside of like The Bridge and like Left Me Lonely. And like, I've never been a Shan fan. He would have ruined that song for me. But I still think it's big because of Kane and G-Rap. But all right, last one. I didn't know this until the day and I was doing this research. When J and M were doing Renegade, M was doing some old good, bad meets evil shit. And to hurry up and get the verse done, he sent Jay Renegade, but Royce was on it.
Yeah.
He took Royce's verses off and kept his. Put Jay's verses there. What if Jay would have kept Royce's verse on there and it was Jay, Royce, and M on the blueprint? Do you think, what would that have done for Royce's career? Do you think it would have done it? Do you think anybody more would have been like, oh, who is this Royce person?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Nick, I love when niggas want to answer a question first. Like, hey.
It's going to be quick. It wouldn't happen because of what you said earlier. Jay doesn't like niggas on the record this as good as him.
Right.
So he would have heard that. He'd be like, who the fuck is this nigga? Boy, get him out of here.
Right.
Get him off. That
Right.
never
I feel you, and I agree totally that there was no way Jay was going to keep it. But if he did, do you think that would have helped Royce's career, or people would have just kind of skated by him and been like, "Oh, M and J," because they were the two big ones? Or do you think Royce would have been able to hold his own enough for newer people who were just Jay-Z fans to be like, "Oh, who's this Royce dude?"
One thing for us who like lyricists, we would have peaked it. But for the casual fan that's just into popularity, they wouldn't have cared about Royce.
All right. What about you, Porsche?
I think I think they would have. Who was that on that track? And I think it would have kind of propelled Royce to a different sort of fan base that would have otherwise not checked for him.
All right.
And even if they missed it at the time, I think it would have been one of those things where it's like, oh, but like you go back and then you're like, oh, that dude on the Renegade track, you know, like it would have been one of those things, I think.
All right. What about you, JP?
I have a question. Was Royce on any of M's albums?
That's what I was about to say. He was
Before
on
that?
He was on Bad Meets Evil 2
Bad
years
Meets
earlier.
No, I mean any of M's albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad versus
Bad
evil.
Meets Evil.
Bad-
on the
okay.
Slim Shady. Yeah, and it did nothing for his career. So this,
Okay,
I don't
so,
think
yes,
this would have changed.
like Porsche, it would have brought some attention to him, but I don't think it wouldn't have like catapulted his career like.
But an M album is different from a Jay-Z album, right?
Right.
Like there's a way different reach, in my opinion, from
I
an
agree.
M album. Royce being on an M album, you can gloss over him, but being on a J album, and especially where Jay is now, I think again it goes back to what I was saying. I think people would have went back and it would have been a hindsight situation where it would have been like where Jay is now would have made people check for everything and everybody Jay was kind of rocking with and featuring and all that kind of stuff. That's what I think.
All right. Good news. What you got?
I think it would have been a good look for Royce. That you know, for him to be on Renegade.
All right. And you think people would have been checking for him? I love Gnu. Gnu, I ain't no Pac fan. Pass the mic. Gnu was like, hey, man, I don't know about Pac. All right, Bruce, what you got?
Yeah, I think it would have definitely added anticipation to his next albums. Was you rapping on a track with probably the two biggest rappers in the world at the time?
Especially
so like,
and I believe Royce could keep up with anybody. So,
anybody.
Right. So, and Gadget, what about you?
It definitely would have catapulted his career. I mean, people were checking for Bleak. Like, come on. Of course they're going to check for fucking Royce.
That was checking for who?
Bleak.
Was checking for Bleak.
No, that's what I'm saying. People were checking for Bleak. After the first album, people were checking for Bleak.
I think people wanted Bleak. Yeah. One of the biggest disservices that Jay did to Bleak was trying to make Bleak into
the
next
new improved Jay-Z.
That was the biggest thing, because when you hear Blink on that joint that sets off the Hard Knock Life album over that, I'm like, that's the Bleak we should have got. We should have got y'all should have put Bleak in the studio
with Premier,
and we would have had a dope Bleak album, because the way he sets off that Hard Knock Life album, I was like, God damn, like where that Bleak at? Instead of my man Roots, me and JP's man Roots did that joint, Do My Ladies Run This Motherfucker. And that's where they tried to push Bleak. Like, yo, go to the club. And it's like, nah, nigga, that ain't his thing. Let him be, you know, what he does. But all right. So with all that said and done, I got two more quick ones. We don't have to take a long time. What if Wyclef did not executive produce Cannabis's first album?
Who cares?
Okay.
He said, okay.
Yeah. Nobody cares, man.
All right, nobody cares. Okay, but at that time, everybody cared. When Can I Bust dropped, let's not act, everybody was not. Nobody cares now, 20 years later. But in 1997, everybody cared about Wyclef. I mean that. And here's the last one. What if Kanye's mom does not die?
Good one. Good.
Man, we don't get
808s and heartbreaks, which spawned a whole new genre of hip hop.
Exactly.
Or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Exactly.
What new genre of hip hop did it spawn though? Like bad hip hop?
Emo rap.
Like the singy, songy, auto like.
So maybe Drake would have never been around. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Of course. How no matter what, we could be talking about Willie Dynamite.
Drake is gonna come into the equation.
In somehow, some way, you're gonna be like, because if Drake wore that hat,
listen. In my defense, someone said singing rap, and the only person that sings rap, and I don't even call it rap, is Drake. Come on, he sings his emotions. Let's be honest.
All right, so we know you don't want that. So, but do we get the old Kanye? Because I really think his mom dying really affected him.
Yes.
You know, I think like
he probably would have dropped Good Ass Job.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true.
They dropped Good Ass Job, right? Instead of 808 and Heartbreaks. You know what I mean? So, and I know I'm like again the only one. I don't mind 808 and Heartbreaks. I'll take that over that Yeezus any day of the week.
Wow.
Amazing with Young Jeezy. There's some good songs on there, but I know that's just me.
Definitely.
Gadget, give them all the information, good brother.
All social media at Digital Hustler. But Kill, I had a question for you. I got a what if for you that I forgot to send you.
All right, what you got?
You know, I interviewed Tracy Lee back in the day,
right? And
he says it was between him and Keith Murray to be in the Def Squad.
What?
Like. What if Eric Sermon picked Tracy Lee instead of Keith Murray to be in the Def Squad?
Now here's the thing. Let me answer this first. Okay. Here's the wild part. The Tracy Lee that the industry and everybody knows. Let me explain something to you. My old head, my man Steve, went to Howard and was cool with Tracy Lee when his name was L Rock.
Right.
And L Rock was nasty. Like for people who, because a lot of people only know Tracy Lee as that everywhere where my crew goes, and I know we get down. I'm letting y'all know, JP. I don't know if I ever came through your crib with it. To this day, whoever comes through my crib, we can listen to L Rock's demos. He's nasty. Like, and one thing about New York has never, until the Roots Philadelphia Half-Life came out, I felt like that's when people from New York was like, all right, to y'all Philly niggas. You know, before then it was like, whatever. Yo, I had hardcore Brooklyn, Bronx, everybody loving L Rock's demos. Like his shit was hard. So when I heard the theme, I was like, the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Ain't the L, this is not L Rock that I know. Like, so to the average person, they gonna laugh at it like Tracy Lee. I'm letting y'all know that nigga is fucking nice. That nigga is real nice. So I understand that the average person is gonna be like, "Oh, that was stupid." It's not as stupid as what y'all believe. It's not that. Kind of like with Cassidy. I tell a story all the time. I used to be like, "Yo, Cassidy, my nigga nice. Nigga came out with Hotel with fucking R. Kelly with the mask on, looking like Zorro. Niggas looking at me like, this your nigga? This your kid? And I'm like, no, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. This is not, that's not my, like, this is not who I'm talking about. And niggas is like, yo, see, y'all Philly niggas, y'all whack, man. You know, I'm letting y'all know, Cassidy, y'all know now because of all the back. Cassidy was nasty. That was not a good representation of him as an MC. Same thing with Tracy Lee. So I didn't know that, but trust me, it wouldn't have been a bad thing in my opinion. So anybody else with Tracy Lee on Keith's book? I mean, it's easy to be like it should have been. I mean,
most beautiful is never comes out.
Which is an amazing song, and a lot of great Keith Murray verses. You know, I've never been a fan of Keith Murray's albums, but he had always had strong songs and very dope features, in my opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? Definitely dope remixes. But all right, Gadget, give him all the info, good brother.
ScratchMagazineTV.com at Digital Hustler on all social medias.
And where can we get the hats and all the gear from?
DirtyAvenueClothing.com. Thank you very much.
No doubt, no doubt. Bruce, give them all the info, good brother.
All right, it's Bruce Wayne 11. That's Bruce WAIN 11 on all social medias. My first EP, Elegant Sounds of Bruce Wayne 1. It's coming soon.
All right, no doubt. Gnu, give them all the info.
Yo, at Mr. Gary Gnu on Instagram. At Mr. Gary 73 on Twitter, but I don't fuck with Twitter, so hit me on the gram.
All right, JP, give them everything.
On all social media, JPaz Music and jpazmusic.com.
All right, Nick.
You'll link it up, but I just wanted to say the Tracy Lee album was actually dope. If you get past the single.
I love the theme. I
love the theme too.
I love that.
Like the theme is cool, but like I think people thought he was gonna be that the whole album. I think a lot of people like kind of skipped over that album.
Yeah, and it's not. In fact, one of the songs, God, what is it? Closer to the Edge. The Edge was one of the joints where he's rhyming over the Isley Brothers joints. That was one of the demos he had. The cats on there, One Step Beyond. They got some shit. I'm telling you, man, Howard had some shit. Like, I think every because JP will tell you, Morgan, we had some shit. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I think every HBCU probably had some shit that's like, man, I think every HBCU in the 90s probably had at least 2 or 3 MCs or producers who should have been on. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. But I thank you for saying that, Nick, because, yeah, a lot of people, just lost over the theme and everything like that. But, I mean, and I felt like you went toe-to-toe with Big. I mean, of course, Big was but I never look. I'm not like Noriega, who's like, nah, big trash Tracy Lee. I thought Trey stayed. He went with that nigga. Which in itself is an accomplishment. Because who the fuck else besides Jay-Z and probably Meth have gone bar to bar with Big almost. Right. So I definitely feel that. Porsche, give them all the info, miss.
You'll link it up. You don't need to hear it.
And y'all already know this with me, Kill889, Twitter, Instagram, Will Make Beats for Food. I will check y'all next week, good people.
Bye.